Good morning, everybody. I'm Ed Avis. I'm the publisher of El Restaurante magazine, and I want to welcome you to our webinar today, Winning with the World Cup in Your Restaurant. Before we jump into this topic, I want to acknowledge our sponsor for today. That's the California Milk Advisory Board. Their sponsorship made this possible. Thank you to them. This topic is something that, of course, is on the mind of a lot of El Restaurante readers and other owners of Mexican Latin restaurants because the World Cup is so important to our audience, to your customers. When Lilly Rocha, who is the executive director of the Latino Restaurant Association, and I started kind of talking about the World Cup and how it would impact our members, we started thinking about who would be good to help us understand things and help our readers understand what they can do. And Lilly quickly came up with the Los Angeles Sports and Entertainment Commission because they are, they have their finger on the pulse of this situation. And of course, the World Cup is not limited to LA, but what we are going to learn today will apply to anywhere you are, pretty much, at least most of it. So, before I introduce our panelists from the Los Angeles Sports and Entertainment Commission, let me turn the table over here to Lilly Rocha, who is the executive director of the Latino Restaurant Association. Lilly, can you give us a quick couple words about what they are?
Yeah, good morning, Ed, and thank you so much. Thank you for partnering with us on this. We're really excited to be here this morning. Yeah, the Latino Restaurant Association. We're based in Los Angeles, but we are a national organization. We're here to help. We put a survey together last at the end of the year. Got some great feedback. So this is one of the results here was our conversation with Ed. But at the end of the day, just know that if you are not familiar with the Latino Restaurant Association, if you're not a member yet, check out our social media. Instagram, Latino Restaurant Association, you'll get some more information. You can get connected right to our website and find out a little bit more about us. We are, like I said, a national organization, 1,400 members. And again, wanted to thank Oscar and Samona. And thank you so much, Ed. And thank you for having us as well.
Thank you very much, Lilly. The LRA is an important group, and we're delighted to be partnering with you. With that, let me introduce our speakers today. Samona Caldwell is the director of the Business Connect program for the Los Angeles Sports and Entertainment Commission. Welcome, Samona.
Thank
And,
you.
and Oscar Delgado is the director of Fan and Stakeholder Engagement for the Los Angeles Sports and Entertainment Commission.
Hello,
Welcome,
everyone.
Oscar.
Thank you, Ed.
And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Samona. I'm going to put the spotlight on you, Samona. I'm going to stop my own sharing so you can put your presentation up. And let me get the spotlight specifically on you.
All right. You guys can see the screen. We're good to go.
We're all good to go. It's all yours.
Awesome. Good morning, everyone. Again, thank you, Ed and Lilly, for having us here today. Before we talk about Business Connect, I just wanted to make sure everyone understood and knows about the Los Angeles Sports Entertainment Commission. And we call it LASEC. So if you see it, LASEC, or if you hear that, that's the Los Angeles Sports Entertainment Commission. As I always say, please do not refer to it as LASIK. That is the eye surgery. And so we want to make sure we differentiate ourselves from that organization and surgery. So nevertheless, the Los Angeles Sports Entertainment Commission was created by Mayor Reardon in 1995 as an economic development engine for the region, right? The main objective was to have an ongoing organization working to attract major sports and entertainment events to Los Angeles and our region, of course, to bring tremendous economic and community impact and help drive tourism. We are responsible, so we're talking about FIFA today, so we are responsible for pulling all the bid pieces together for FIFA, and we had NBA All-Star, we have Super Bowl coming up. So we're the host committee for these events. So we take care of the hotel room blocks, securing the primary venues, creating the marketing and promotional items, the legacy and community engagement pieces for these events when they come to the LA region, and so much more. And just so you all know, LASCC is a 501c3 California nonprofit public benefit corporation. That's it. Sorry. What was on that? All right, so just a little bit about Business Connect. We are the official, and I say we because I'm the director, but we're the official procurement program that builds a direct link between event production opportunities with our event and venue partners and businesses in our program. So to be eligible for the program, you must be an experienced business that is the direct source of the goods and services, been established for 3 years in the greater LA area. Your business must be event ready and again have the capacity and ability to scale to meet the subcontracting needs of our event and venue partners. Your business also must be in good standing in the state of California, and you need to have a business certification. So this slide shows the most requested disciplines in event productions. You see it's from audio visual, goes to porta potties, includes white glove service in event production. And these are the things that in my area in Business Connect that I try to source for our program, of course, to prepare them for these opportunities that come along with these events. Of course, you see catering, food and beverage. That's one of our most important and most requested disciplines in the program as it relates to these events. So it's perfect timing that we are having this conversation today. Another thing I want to make clear is we do have our Business Connect submission period open now until May 30th. So please, when I show you this next QR code, you can click on it to take you to our page. It has my contact information as well. Again, the Business Connect interest form period closes on the 30th. We always seek food and beverage opportunities and businesses. Also, food trucks are popular right now, so we were looking to add more food trucks to our program. And if your business qualifies, again, please submit your interest form. It's important that we, of course, have a really vested interest in our businesses to have these opportunities to make sure that you all are prepared and contracting competitive for what's coming to Los Angeles for these events. So I will now pass it to my colleague, Oscar Delgado, who will talk about the indirect opportunities available through the FIFA World Cup. Oscar?
Let me interrupt very briefly. Thank you so much, Samona, for that presentation. Attendees, I think you understood. The key point is that Samona is your point of contact if you want to take advantage of some of these programs that she's putting together, including food trucks. I know many of our readers have food trucks, and that is a need of hers. So if you didn't catch her QR code there, we are recording this event. So it will show up again, and you can watch it on the El Restaurante website. And I'll send out a link to it too so that LRA members can get it. And let me mention this too. We have some questions that I have presented to Oscar in advance. He will handle those in his presentation. But if you have further questions, feel free to present them to us using the Q&A tab on your screen. We might not get to them, but if you have a question, go ahead and put it there. And if we don't have an opportunity to answer it right now, we'll present it to them later and get back to you. All right. So with that, I'm going to give it over to you, Oscar. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Yes, I think thank you for hosting us. I will do my best to not just talk at you and the audience as I inform and educate you here, but please do use that chat to try to make this as interactive as possible. I am not as eloquent of a speaker as my colleague, so I will do my best here. So the first step is just, and again, just to piggyback on some things that were shared, because I think for context, it's important to understand how this celebration, this global event is coming to our region. So, um, as just a data point of excitement, I'm a long time, which is hard to say now as I'm getting older. But I am a sports executive that has worked in Los Angeles for many, many years, being on different teams. This event that is taking place in North America is arguably not the largest or second largest sporting event. It's arguably one of the largest just organized human events, being that it's an entire continent, it's three countries, it's multiple cities. It's just in our region, it'll be 8 matches. In total, it'll be just over 100 matches. And all of this is taking place in 42 days. So the first thing that everyone should note, if you are not aware, there is the way this is constructed is you have FIFA, which is the organizing global party. Underneath that is FIFA 26, and underneath that is the host committees for the various host cities. And so in the case of Los Angeles, the commission is the host uh, organizing group. It's the glue. That looks different from city to city. We're fortunate that in our region that we have the commission. So with that said, as everyone is watching over Zoom and we're all on our keyboards, the website for the LA World Cup is Los Angeles FWC 26.com. I'll repeat that. That's Los Angeles FWC 26.com. And so if you go to that page, somebody can I get the next slide, please? The community activation kit. Thank you. So from there, you'll have your various options at the top right-hand corner. You can get that community activation kit and also access to the 39-day engagement guide. So in the community activation toolkit, which it does, you have to invest in some time to read it, digest it, to understand, at the very least skim it. But I think if you dedicate a good 5 to 20 minutes and digest that, you'll understand and it'll probably answer a lot of the questions. As one resource that we are providing, there is, and you can see on the screen, the 39-day fan engagement guide. If you go to that page at the top right, you will see the option to add an event. And one of the buckets of which we are injecting different events is the bars and the restaurants. So the 39-day fan engagement guide is going to come to life here very quickly in the next 4 weeks as people are submitting what they are doing, where they are located, as we are all trying to celebrate the World Cup matches that are coming. So, on the next slide, please. The fan zone. So the celebrations, just to understand, and the vocabulary is important. So for Los Angeles, there's the official Fan Fest. At the moment, it is scheduled to take place at the Coliseum that first week of the World Cup. So that is managed by FIFA and the Commission. The next bucket when it comes to celebrations are the fan zones. So the fan zones will take place during the tournament in different parts of the Southland. So since this slide was created, we did add Burbank. So the city of Downey, Hanson Dam. We tried to, there was some strategy in geographically take position these very different fan zones. Some are larger, some are inside, some are outside. But bottom line is we wanted to make sure that we could geographically cover the Southland, as Los Angeles is very unique when compared to some of the other host cities. Next slide. In the the community activation toolkit, this is an example of just one slide that's in there. And I think this is something that I myself had to read twice to digest and understand. So when it comes to the viewing parties, FIFA wants everyone to be able to watch the game, and you can watch the game. The games will be on Fox Soccer NBC is doing a lot of coverage as well, and then Telemundo. So, but bottom line is that's where people can watch their games. When it comes to viewings, there are three different buckets, as you can see here. Um, there's a couple of links where you should read the language to understand what FIFA is trying to do and how they are trying to just track and organize. And I'm sure someone here in the audience is thinking, okay, well, how does this apply to me and my venue, my restaurant, or restaurants and locations? And I will address that here shortly, but I wanted to make sure I just give a 40,000-foot view of what you should be reading, because in most cases, everyone is probably already set, but what you should be doing is click on these links, submit to FIFA that you are going to show the games. And in most cases, everyone on here is going to have less than 1,000 people, and it'll be business as usual. But I will get into here shortly where you could cross over the line where some sort of payment does need to take place. Next slide. So really, when it comes to registering, really what we're talking about is the intellectual property. So that's where FIFA is policing, I guess, and I say that policing with a small p, not a big P. But in most cases, the community viewing events, there's no official IP available. So in other words, you're not an official partner, so you don't have access to that IP. So what is that IP? It's using the word World Cup. But what you can do is be part of that 39-day fan experience guide, and you can show the game. Ed provided some direct questions that I will address here shortly. But again, I just want to make sure that we know what it is we're talking about. So really, what it comes down to, it's about the IP and the intellectual properties. Next slide. So submitting your event, this is really important because this is how you're going to be able to promote your event on that 39-day fan engagement guide. So by just putting your restaurant, your location, how you'll be celebrating the matches, by putting that in this calendar, our calendar is the calendar that the world will see when they come to LA to celebrate these different games. So and the celebrations are taking place at different points. Some folks are saying, hey, we are going to target this 1 week specifically, or we are targeting a certain team. Maybe you're just following the teams. So from my vantage view, people are celebrating in different manners because the priorities are different. Obviously, I think for a lot of the audience here, it's trying to generate and drive business and traffic to the restaurants, which I would just suggest that instead of just throwing on here, hey, we're celebrating every day, is be a little more strategic and like, okay, why is the theme of your restaurant, as an example, Argentinian or Brazilian? And so when are those dates and where are they playing? And is there a time zone difference? So I imagine there are restaurant managers, owners here that have already done this in the past when the games were in other time zones. But I would say that taking a moment to pause to understand, okay, how am I leveraging what is happening to be able to create traffic and more business for my restaurant? So let's maybe we can zoom or just close out the presentation here, and I can just talk directly about some questions that Ed provided. And I think this is where just maybe everyone here, if you can give me maybe another good 5 minutes, I will address 5 to 7 minutes, maybe address here some direct questions. So one of the first questions was, what does a restaurant need to get a permit to legally show the World Cup game? So the first thing is go to that community activation toolkit, click on that link that allows you to apply for through the FIFA portal. So again, we are not FIFA, but we are communicating and working with FIFA. By submitting on there, it's really doing is saying, hey, I am leveraging this event and I'm just going to do it within my restaurant. Now, FIFA, the queue for this is really long right now. But I would say that the majority of restaurants, if you already show games and you already have screens, you're good to go. That's now if you say, hey, I'm going to extend right outside my perimeter and we're going to celebrate outside on the sidewalk or the street, that's where you're crossing the line for that intellectual property. And also the thing you got to be careful about um, is using the phrase World Cup. I think that's what I have seen in the last few weeks. That's where a lot of people are getting hung up, is not using World Cup, not using, excuse me, the trophy. Um, but registering helps. It helps with just tracking and scaling this large organized viewing event. So um, just making sure that you're not thinking like, oh, I'm an official FIFA viewing arena, because that's not the case. Um, the second question was, do restaurants get the permit through FIFA or the regular TV cable provider, or is there some sort of combination there? So again, it's just visiting that link and submitting and just being honest and just saying, hey, this is what I am. In most cases, I think it's going to be less than 1,000 people. Um, and just making sure that FIFA's tracking for the region, like, okay, this is where some viewing is happening, and this restaurant is in good standing and they're just showing their game. Is there a limit on the number of permits that FIFA's providing? The answer is no. They want everyone to be able to watch the game in Los Angeles. So there's no hard cap on venues. FIFA is not trying to restrict typical restaurant bar viewing. The larger viewing events is really where they're putting a lot more emphasis on the oversight, where it's like 5 or 10,000 people. So there's no, only few bars get it. This is meant to be a citywide celebration. And in addition to the fan zones, in addition to the fan fest, and in addition to obviously being inside the stadium. Um, the one of the other questions I got here, so question 4, how much does it cost? Does it cost vary depending on the number of screens? Uh, or should we have, what does the pricing look like? So for most bars, the it's pretty minimal if you're going to be extending outside the footprint. I can't give you the exact pricing because it hasn't been given to me, but what I can tell you historically is that for about 1,000 people, it's about $1,000. And so when do you get charged that, or why would you get charged that? The answer to that question is if you are boiling over into saying, hey, we're gonna, this is a fictitious example, but we're celebrating at a restaurant and we are going to close down the street right in front of the restaurant. Like that is an example where it's like, okay, well, now you're outside your perimeter. So you're expected to host 1,000 people outside. Then that's where there's a fee. But if you're business as usual, turn the game on, just make sure you register, um, and you should be good to go. Now, what happens if a bar shows a game without registering? Okay, well, the policing um, uh, is it. FIFA does have their eyes and ears out. The commission as well, and also sponsors. So in most cases, I would tell you that bars, restaurants, if you just advertise by having nations flags or just saying, hey, watch the tournament here, or celebrate soccer here, you're going to be fine. I've only seen a handful of cases where there was logo usage, let's say on Instagram or social media, and a red flag did come up, where I saw a letter of making sure that they ceased and removed um, the marks were taken down. So I honestly have only seen that a handful of times. Now, again, is in most cases can they monitor 100, 1,000 restaurants? It's very difficult, but again, the audience here, you may have 5 restaurants, you may have 10 restaurants. So I know that the audience here varies, so you have to kind of just think for yourself, okay, it's probably in your best interest to just make sure log on, you went to the portal, you registered, you were honest, and you just said, hey, this is what I'm doing. Um, as I said, their queue is pretty long because what I'm also doing is communicating with various different groups, including smaller cities that are looking to do an event that's free for 1,000 or 3,000 or 5,000 people. So they're also keeping an eye. So again, the question was, what happens if a bar restaurant shows the game without the proper permit? How is that enforced? Sponsors, the commission, FIFA is keeping an eye out. Um, and I mean, I think there will be, I think this happens at every World Cup, is there may be a restaurant that gets away with it, but the best thing you could do, just be honest and forthright, and everything should be good. So the next question, what restrictions exist for how they can promote the game? So um, can you use the FIFA logo in the advertisement? So what you cannot use is can't use the FIFA logo, World Cup, World Cup branding, or official marks or language. Again, what you can say is soccer watch party. You can say that, or you can say live international matches. And I will tell you that yeah, it's that verbiage is kind of dancing around, but as we start the World Cup, people will know exactly what you are talking about. You can absolutely promote the games, just don't present yourself as an official affiliate of FIFA. So in other words, promote the event, just not don't promote the marks. Um, so just doing a time, we're doing a time check here. We're at 10:30. So Ed, why don't I just pause there? I think I threw a lot of information there, but try to do it as organized as possible.
Great. Excellent info, Oscar. Thank you. Attendees, like I said, if you've got questions, go ahead and put them in the Q&A tab. In the meantime, let me ask for a little bit of clarification on a couple points, Oscar. If someone on the call, and I recognize a lot of our viewers, but not all of them, if they are not in LA, let's say they're in New York, do they can they still go through your thing to set this up, or do they need to find the New York Sports Commission version of it?
Excellent question. So, excellent question. So the portal is for all because that is managed by FIFA 26.
Okay.
The portal for FIFA and the viewing license. The 39-day fan engagement guide, that is only for LA County.
Okay.
Um,
So that portal then they can access it through the LA thing. It's just that they're
correct. Now what I would suggest is similar to what we have as our web page. Again, it's Los Angeles FWC26.com.
Mhm.
There is a web page for every other host city.
Oh,
So what I would recommend is if someone that's watching here is in Seattle, go to the Seattle webpage, and they will have their section of the of a communication on their community activation toolkit. So it's it's pretty much the same thing, but I would recommend that if they're in another host city, that they go to their host city webpage.
okay. And how many host cities are there, Oscar?
There are 3 in Mexico, 2 in Canada, and we are 12.
Okay.
We're 12. I'm sorry, I should know that, but yeah, we're a dozen.
Okay. So let's say someone's not in a host city. Let's say they're in Springfield, Illinois. Uh, they can, through the LA site, can access the FIFA portal and say, "Hey, I'm going to show this, this game at my bar on Saturday, July 12th or whatever." And then that's good enough, right?
Repeat the question one more time for
Yeah.
me, please.
Let's say someone is not in a host city. They're a smaller town somewhere. One way or another, they can get into the FIFA portal, enter their event, and that's going to be good enough, right? They can say,
Yeah,
hey, show it.
yeah, they should again, yes, it's just trying to be organized. And again, it's 16 cities.
Okay.
Forgive me, I think I added one there. It was 11 North American, 11 American, three in Canada, and two in three in Mexico and two in Canada. But yes, if you are in a smaller market, um, it also visit the web page for your nearest market.
Oh,
So
okay.
um,
That makes,
that I mean, really what we're talking about here is a geographical question.
yeah,
But again, let me repeat for everyone: the portal for FIFA for the viewing is the same for everyone.
yeah. That's not specific to LA. That's
That's not specific to LA,
right,
correct?
right. But they can get to that portal through the thing in LA that's set up.
Yeah, because the other thing is this, and I guess just maybe understanding on the back end. So, and actually, and it was an excellent question, Ed, because I did have a friend of a friend reached out asking for help because they haven't gotten an answer to a question, but they're located not in Southern California.
Hmm.
So when I'm communicating with FIFA 26, they are divided up geographically as well. So the
Hmm.
person that's on the West Coast doesn't really have visibility to the applications for the East Coast. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. Okay. Attendees. So bottom line is if you're not in LA, you should still register. Now,
Correct.
uh, let's say uh, somebody is doing a larger event, Oscar, like you suggested. Let's say someone says, "Wow, I've got a lot of customers. I'm gonna take over this vacant lot next door, and I want to go all out. I have 1,000 people." They register this. Do they get an invoice or something from FIFA? I mean, who are they going to pay this money to?
This is also that is they are it's all FIFA. So once that's done, you are in communication with FIFA and they are handling all of this because they may have some follow-up questions. In the case of the audience here, um, if it's just a plug and play, we're less than 1,000 people, we're not charging tickets, we're not charging sponsors, we're just hosting this event. You should still be okay. What happens is that again, we're talking in a very this is a very massive conversation. So what FIFA is trying to figure out is if someone here suggests, hey, as an example, I'm in Dallas and I have a couple restaurants and we really want to blow this out. And we have sponsors. Okay, well, when FIFA hears we have sponsors, in their mind it's like, okay, what kind of sponsors are we talking about? A top level beer sponsor, right? So that's where you're starting to cross over into more of what FIFA is trying to get down to the nitty gritty. I think most communities, from what I'm seeing, is if they do team up with another entity, it might be the local municipality. And so the municipality may have already set a budget aside for some sort of gathering. Um, Again, when it comes to the viewing license, it's all done with FIFA.
Okay, got it. Now we have a question here from an attendee. I'm going to read it to you. I own two restaurants in downtown LA. Can
Mhm.
we broadcast the games and run specific advertisements for soccer watch party? Can we run campaigns on Google, Instagram, TikTok, etc.? Clearly, our audience would never reach 1,000 people. Do we need to request any permission from FIFA?
So, and keep me on track here, Ed. Um, that question, so the answer to running an ad, the answer is yes, but what is in the ad? Again, the vocabulary is really important. It's you can say celebrate the tournament with us this summer. So I'll actually give you a real example. So this was about a week ago. I went to go get gas at the gas station. Um, and so I had the radio on in my car, and there was a uh, company running a radio ad that sells electronics, TVs, speakers, and their whole ad they actually just they reference. They never said World Cup. They just said um, they used the word soccer, and I think they called it like the big games this summer. And so clearly someone on their team was very conscious that they were not boiling over into the intellectual property. So back to the question at hand is, can they do some sort of Google ad or a social media advertising? Yes. It's just about making sure that you're not touching the intellectual property of the World Cup. You're not saying World Cup, you're not showing the trophy. Um, you're just referencing the event.
Got it. And should this restaurant owner register? Yes, right?
Register with FIFA for the view. Yes, yeah, you should just yes, you should do that. And if they're in Los Angeles, also register and submit for the 39-day fan engagement guide.
Okay. That's a good question. Attendee who asked that question, I don't, it's an anonymous question, so I don't see a name. But if you have a follow-up, go ahead and uh, keep asking questions in case that wasn't answered. But let me go on to the fan engagement guide point. So, Oscar, let's say this particular owner says, "Hey, I'm going to have two watch parties, for the whatever Argentina game and the Mexico game." Uh, is there criteria that 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 local watch guide is going to implement and say, yeah, great, this fits into our fan guide, we'll stick it in there, or no, you're too small, or whatever. I mean, how does someone get into this guide? It seems like a good thing, right, to be in the guide.
Yes, so and maybe I can do I'll try to figure out how to do a share screen. I live more on Teams, not so much Zoom,
Yeah,
but
it's share
so
screen is
so
right in the middle. It's the
yep.
green square down there. Yeah.
So let me with the many windows I have. So oh share. Is it sharing?
It's coming up. Yep. There it is. Yep.
Okay. So again, how do you get to this page? Los Angeles FWC26.com. Okay, this is again, I'm on the back end, so it won't look exactly like this, but this part, these icons, there's one for restaurants and bars. There's one for viewing parties. So these are starting to come to life. So those that are on here, so and again, the button's right there, add event.
Hmm.
So now I will say this, and this is a decision that was just made on our end because it's I understand it makes it a little harder on your audience's end, but once you submit, you cannot edit if you submit it. Now, if there's something that does change and you want to um, uh, edit, you can contact me. And I'm conscious of me giving out my email address, but my email address is O Delgado, ODELGADO at LASEC.us. O Delgado at LASEC.us. So if for some reason you submit and it's baked in and it's already in our calendar, but you're like, oh, there's something that I really want to change for whatever the case may be, you can contact me. And we can and I can assist on the back end. But this guide, these are slowly going to be coming back or coming up for oxygen and start to really live and breathe. Um,
And
but
Oscar,
these, yep.
are there what criteria are being used to decide which events get added to that guide, if any?
So, so the it's general information, um, making sure that not boiling over into the IP. You're not too small, you're not too large. Um, there, it's basic information. And again, I think once you start, if you click on some of the other examples on here, like arts and culture, um, like we have museums that are starting to do things as well. But it's general information. What are you doing? Where are you doing it? What's the address? again, maybe what is unique about your particular one. Like it's like, oh, we're in, I'm using this as an example, we're in downtown Los Angeles, and this is the place to watch uh, Poland play, or Uruguay or Mexico. Um, so the criteria, it's just basic information. This is a tool that we are using to support our region. Um, and so that people know that where to go. The other fun thing is that there's a button for map view. And so once you click on the map view, which is just on there, you can see it on an actual map. And so if you're living in the Pasadena, San Gabriel Valley area, you're thinking, okay, well, I don't want to go to the west side, or I don't want to go all the way to Long Beach. So maybe I'll go to downtown. What's located there? And vice versa. There may be people that are just thinking, hey, I do want to watch a game with other people that are celebrating the soccer tournament. What's going on in Long Beach, or the South Bay area of the county? But no, you're not too big, you're not too small. It's just knowing what you're gonna do. And I say this, underlined in bold. You're driving the car. We're just hopping in and maybe riding in the back seat for a little bit with you to guide you and to say, hey, this is the direction you need to go. This is what the map looks like. Because the other thing is, I've had some inquiries where people are, you know, honestly, they're wanting me to tell them what they should do or could do. So in giving you some guardrails, it's just knowing this is the date, this is the place, this is what we're doing, this is how we're going to celebrate and make ourselves unique.
Great. Thank you, Oscar, for that. Attendees. So I think the point here is if you're in LA or the LA region, go ahead and submit your event through this 39-day fan guide because you get the free publicity. I mean, there's nothing to lose there, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
great. Now, but also submit it through the FIFA portal so that it gets registered in that way.
Now the other thing I will also recommend to everyone here, and there was a reason we did this. So Samona, we started with her in Business Connect. As some viewers here, they may have more than one business, right? Or they may have a catering branch of their restaurant. As more major sporting events come to our region, the Super Bowl's coming in January. The best thing you could do for yourselves is be part of that program that Simona manages and oversees, because um, that's just another way to help yourselves when these events come. Um,
Great.
because again, sports, and again, in my experience, sports is really divided into three things. There's the action in the stadium, there's the reaction, and the reaction is the audience that's in the stadium, and then there's community. So it's the things that happen inside the stadium, and there's the things that happen outside the stadium. And so I think this audience here is about what's going on in the ecosystem outside the stadium.
Great. Uh, you mentioned that there's a queue lining up for this FIFA portal. Does that
Mhm.
mean that they're taking time to look at each one? I mean, why is there a queue? Why isn't it just zipping right through? I don't understand that.
Um, it's just the submissions. Now, again, I don't have full visibility. Again, the why? Well, I think it goes back to my first point, is that this is the largest organized human event in the history of the planet. And so, I'm not going to boil over into, and I'm sure some soccer fans here, sports fans, are tracking all the various different news, exciting and maybe not so exciting news that's affecting fans, whether it be the various different topics that exist for celebrations, whether it's transportation or the ticket prices, or bottom line is that there's a queue because everyone wants a piece of the pie, or they want to somehow be part of this moment and celebrate it. So they have a lot of submissions, and I don't
Okay.
know if maybe they have more submissions than they thought. Again, the model for this is, um, putting my professor hat on. This event is a decentralized one where the various host cities are the ones that created the look and feel of for their region. So as an example, I touched on we have the Fan Fest and the fan zones, right? We are Los Angeles, as an example, Los Angeles looks very different than Philadelphia, as an example. So Los Angeles, we're very spread out. So we have our Fan Fest and our various fan zones at various times. Philadelphia, they only have one fan zone at one location, but they did it for more days. So they're saying we're going to do it this long, but we're only at one site, and also their one site is part of their legacy piece, which is refurbishing, remodeling a large park. So the the opportunity and also the challenge of this particular tournament is that the various host cities, they all look very different.
Yeah.
And I imagine, I mean, people hear the experts when it comes to restaurants and bars. There's some areas and regions that have more restaurants and bars, right? Like if we compare LA to Kansas City, very different.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Now, Oscar, I realize you don't know what's going on in the background with that FIFA portal, but are people getting like an email confirmation that says, "Hey, yeah, thanks for submitting, all good," or something like that?
Great question. And so what's happening is that they once you submit, you get uh, a number, and what I mean by number, a identification.
Okay.
So it's like it looks like a VIN number is really what it looks like. And so um, just a lot of letters and a lot of numbers, and it's like okay, once you got that, that's how they identify you. I think that number good to have for other events that are maybe the 5, 10,000 person. If they haven't gotten a response, that's where they've said, "Hey, Oscar, can you help me out?" And I'm like, "Okay, well, what's your number?" And then I flag it. But in the case of restaurants and bars, yes, you will get a response.
Okay. So you know that it was submitted.
Yeah, it's not like it just goes out into the universe and like, did I do it right? It's like, no, you registered on there and then you got a response
Yeah.
with a number.
Great. Attendees, we only have about 5 minutes left with Simona and Oscar. We got a hard stop, so if you have any other questions, fire them away. Uh, while we're waiting, let me ask one more clarification, Oscar. You mentioned sponsorship, the sponsorship question. Uh, and I'm envisioning a bar saying, well, uh, I want to take advantage of the World Cup, and I would love it if Budweiser would. I already have a relationship with the distributor of Budweiser, and they, give me free stuff when I do parties. Uh, do they need to be careful about that? I mean, if they're not saying World Cup, who cares, right? I mean, you want to have a party and you're already getting swag from your distributor of beer. No one's gonna care, right? I mean, or should they be worried about
Well, they shouldn't be worried about anything. Is really, I mean, I think that's the message here is, um, again, it's kind of like is the glass half empty or half full? Well, it depends on who's pouring, right? So from FIFA's perspective, they're thinking at a 190,000 foot level. So the vocabulary, they hear sponsor, and that may be different than for a local restaurant. What I will tell you, if you submit and you just say, "Hey, our event's free and it's less than 1,000 people," they're not gonna they're not gonna fight.
it? Got it.
They're not gonna fight. If there's less than 1,000 people, you're not charging tickets. You're not. Uh, there's no long contract negotiations for a sponsor. You're fine. Um, so I think that maybe gives you some insight as to what you should say on your application.
Right, right.
I'm a restaurant bar. It's free, and we're just doing it right here.
Yeah, yeah. Great. Okay. I think that's the end of my questions. Um,
Again, and just I'm gonna hit this hammer as far as I can. Your action items, what you should do. Visit the website, Los Angeles FWC26.com. Digest it. Click around. Read. Community activation toolkit. Digest that. It's probably about, I think it's like 20 slides. Some things may be applicable, some things may not be applicable, but digest it. and then also the Business Connect. Take a look at that is because as LA is the sports and entertainment capital of the world, we have more events coming. And so going back to what I said, putting my professor hat on, when it comes to the things outside the stadium, these organizing bodies, they are also doing other events before and during these major sporting events. So in the case of in Samona, you can back me up. You're just as experienced here, but Super Bowl, there are things leading up. So I'm making this up, but if there's something near maybe the Chargers or Rams training centers, right? And they're going to do some sort of event, or their supporters are going to do an event. They want to do it right, and so they're like, okay, well, we know we're going to do this. We have our date, we have our site, but we need an event planner, or we know we're going to host X amount of people, and we need porta potties, or we need um, a, a a company that's got graphic artists, or we need help with social media. The point I'm making is that to save time, the Business Connect program, the list is vetted, trusted partners and companies. Um, so if you're part of that menu, when somebody's coming in to do something, whether it's the NFL or one of the sports teams, um, then it's like, oh, okay, well, so that the best thing you do, visit the website, download the community activation toolkit, register for Business Connect, and click on that FIFA viewing portal and submit.
Yeah, and I included all of the websites that we reference as well as our email address in the chat for the host and panelists. So they will be shared with you after this presentation. But yeah, again, when we talk about direct opportunities and indirect opportunities, of course, a lot of folks are interested in figuring out what they can do inside the venue, as Oscar mentioned. And so we do, meaning Business Connect, focus on that. And then also we focus on what's available for outside of the venue or indirect opportunities. And so we felt that it was important to share this information to you all, with you all, about the community activation toolkit, because again, those are related to those indirect opportunities. And then know that as the director of Business Connect, I am advocating for businesses to make sure that you all get an opportunity to participate somehow, whether it's direct or indirect. So hence why Oscar mentioned, if you are eligible for Business Connect, please submit your interest form. Again, it closes on May 30th, and hopefully we can get you in the program. Again, we are also having events leading up to the games. So we have soccer clinics, we have community days, and we also are looking for food trucks, as I mentioned earlier. So if you fit the bill in LA and can make that happen, please reach out to me if you have additional questions. Thank you.
Great, great. Thank you so much, Simona. Great opportunity, attendees. If you do catering, if you got a food truck, wow, it seems like a golden opportunity here. Let me mention real quickly too, the LRA also has these opportunities come up occasionally. So if you're not a member of the LRA, or if you are a member but you're not paying attention to the newsletter, join and start paying attention, because every once in a while the LRA puts out a call for events that need caterers. So, all right, Oscar and Simona, thank you so much for your presentations today. Great information. It's so good to have people who really know what they're talking about explain this situation. So, thank you both for that. And attendees, this has been recorded. We'll post it. We'll post an article on elrestaurante.com also summarizing some of the key points. So stay tuned for all of that. Thank you both. And with
Thank
that,
you for having us. We
Thank you so
appreciate it.
much.
Good luck, everyone, and take care.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.